welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. So today I was going to talk about, I posted on Facebook, and of course, as all of you know, that I don't necessarily always post things that everyone agrees with or just things like that. I kind of post more of like thought type pieces, or I look into data and research and I try to post something that's more thought-provoking or bringing light to something that other people want to try to hide or sugarcoat or not really address or talk about. So what I posted was a lot of statistics on the military, and I am not really, I mean, it's hard because I know a lot of people who are in the military, first of all. And it actually was something that I thought about doing when I was younger, because when you're lower income, the military seems pretty, you know, like a really good option for you, because you can get free healthcare, you can potentially get free housing and training skills. When you get out, you have a leg up in the job industry as a whole, and you have free college. So there's just a lot of like perks to joining the military. But I kind of felt like, since like I have a lot of guys, how they react to me is really inappropriate, and I just figured, like common sense, that if I'm in an environment that is so masculine and so male dominated, I can only imagine what that would have been like if I had joined the military. And so I was curious as far as data and statistics, and it does show that the military does seem to target more lower income schools and those, you know, people who are more desperate for those perks of signing their body, their life, their mental well-being away. And I just kind of think that's a little predatory, considering someone who's 17 years old, for them to prey on those insecurities and their desperate situation is a little disgusting. And that may not be popular opinion, which is what I put on my post. I'm like, hey, unpopular opinion, but you know, this is research, this is data, these are numbers, these are stats. And it actually showed that about 25% of women in the military, they actually have reported sexual assault, which is huge number and absolutely terrible. And no one has really addressed that climate or how they can improve that. And actually a lot of people are protected in the military, and women who do report it, they end up getting like kind of like messes up their career. They get retaliation, and it showed about 38% get retaliation once they report some kind of sexual assault, and 50% of women in the military actually report harassment, and not necessarily sexual assault, but just that type of thing. And I think that's just really, it's just not a good situation. So as far as like being female in the military, I actually know a couple of friends who have experienced this in the military. So even though it may not be what people like or want to hear, I still stand by that. I don't think the military is an option that people need to be pushing on to young teenagers as far as trying to get free college or healthcare. I just don't think that shouldn't even be an option. Like I see where people are like, oh, this is a great viable option, because it is one of the only options for people to try to get ahead who are in really bad circumstances as children. But should that be how the US operates and runs? I think not. I think, why do we not have a system in place so that these students can go to college, get a degree, and get education without putting their life and their body in harm's way, without subjecting themselves to that type of treatment and mistreatment, harassment, assault? That's a no-brainer. Like, and then a lot of people in my, of course they were military, a lot of the military friends that I know gave me a lot of backlash and comment on there, but they kind of just completely glossed over, or you know, conveniently ignored the stats and what the post actually was saying. And I was like, okay, did you read the article? Did you read the stats? You know, like, this is not what I'm talking about. Like, I think that we need to be talking about this so that we can potentially maybe change it in the future. So maybe we can bring awareness to it, instead of like, oh, like this is uncomfortable, like it makes me feel uncomfortable to talk about real life and truth, and so I choose to ignore it, or I choose to be very reactive and get upset over something that someone is saying just because it's true. I think there needs to be more people in the military who actually see those numbers, and instead of being like, oh my God, I feel attacked, you know, instead of having that sort of reaction, they need to be like, maybe actually feeling bad for the people who have been assaulted and for the people that are in those statistics that have these types of situations, and maybe they should speak out against that and say this is unacceptable. And you know, their energy and their actions and getting upset over it is being directed at the wrong thing. They're getting upset because someone is bringing to light or even mentioning truth, you know, about something that's really bad. So why are they getting upset over someone, the messenger, who's talking about this? Why are they not getting upset over what I'm actually talking about? Like, that was really weird that I noticed, and they were all male, of course, and they all did not actually address, like, the actual issue and what I actually was talking about. They just wanted to be like, oh my gosh, you're bashing the military, and it was a little weird. I don't know why people do that. Like, why? Same thing for, like, I mean, there's so many different instances for this type of thing. And so I think humans, or just people, they need to really work on their skills as far as, like, evaluating things and figuring out, like, the big picture and what is actually important. And that's one, children need to be able to have access to education without putting their life on the line or going into predatory, like, lending of loans to them when they're 17 and 18 years old. That needs to be the conversation, and they don't need to be having to subject themselves to these types of things just because the US wants a huge military force and they think these children should be their fodder that they can send off and they're just, like, expendable. No, that's not okay. That's terrible. And the military needs to stand up more, or people in the military need to actually look at the hard truths and stand up against that instead of getting triggered and upset that someone is even speaking out and speaking truth and talking about this data and statistics, which does not lie. And I can only imagine that the numbers are probably even higher because being in that climate and afraid of that backlash and ruin of your career probably keeps a lot of women and people who experience those things, probably keeps them from even standing up, speaking out, or reporting it. That's why I didn't go to the military. So yeah, life is hard because you need some form. If you're a poor or lower income child, you need some way to try to get ahead in life, to try to set yourself up to have a, you know, at least halfway living wage job, or a roof over your head, or health care, or college education. But to have to go through that is not okay. And I don't think it should be okay for anyone to even look at that situation and say, oh, it's okay. Like my friend, he was talking about how that was the only way he was able to get a college education or go to school. I'm not sure if he ever finished his degree, and because he sold cell phones with me, so you don't necessarily need a degree to sell cell phones at a retail location. And he got really lucky because he was selling a lot, like making $150,000 a year. But he at least addressed that, yeah, there was an issue, but he still was like really pumping it up, you know, like talking about what his situation was and how he was able to do this and how it was only by the grace of the military that he was able to do that. And I mean, that's okay and fine, but you still need to really address the issue, and that is what I posted about. So maybe I'll like add like a screenshot or something in here so y'all can kind of see it, or no, I'll just I'll include the links and things like that down below. And don't forget to go check out my Patreon account. It has all my artistic pictures and photos. I just uploaded a bunch of new content for November today at Starbucks, and I'm gonna be uploading more content on there as the time goes on. We'll have more photo shoots and things like that. So if you love artistic photos and you just wanna be a kind of supporter of my creative work and myself, I would absolutely love that, so go check it out. And also, if you have questions about things glamping or businesses, I have a Hey Hero account that's also linked down below. Just go check everything out, and I will see all of you in the next video. Oh, and don't forget to let me know down below in the comments what you think about this, because it is kind of a controversial thing, I think. I don't think it should be, but apparently it is, to talk about these things. So just let me know down below, like, how you're feeling about this. Do you feel triggered? Do you feel really upset? If you are in the military, do you not like people talking about these types of things or bringing light to it? Do you not want to change it so that people are safer and more comfortable in the military, especially women? I don't know. Let me know down below. I would love to hear your thoughts and ideas and how you are feeling on these types of things. And I also have all the statistics and the data and the articles I was reading listed down below.